Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to BJ and Bill, the podcast, a part of the Podcast Playground Network. Give us that 5-star review, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you do your potting. And of course, follow us on Facebook, BJ and Bill, the podcast. You can find us there. And as always, BJ and Bill, the podcast at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe you got a comment. You'd like us to talk about something. I don't care. We just like to hear from you. And of course, we want to welcome you to episode 117.
Wow. Very nice. 117. Very nice. So there you go. So I see you're wearing your Buccaneers hat today. Very good. Thank you very much.
It was cold here yesterday, so I did not. But I don't know if I will anyway, because I don't know if it's brought me good luck. But ever since I've gotten that Baker Mayfield jersey, they've lost. And I said,
so you didn't, right.
I didn't wear my jersey yesterday. I got my red sneakers, the red hat. I went back to the old Tampa Bay hat that I own.
Okay.
Just wore regular sneakers. Maybe that was the trick. Got rid of all the new stuff. And all the old stuff worked great.
It didn't hurt that we were playing the New York Giants. Because they're bad. They're really, really bad. And I mean, they didn't just bench, they released their quarterback, Daniel Jones. I'm like, wow, that's a bold move for a team with no future. Maybe they're thinking draft pick. I don't know. But anyway.
There is one thing I have to say about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm listening.
They may have lost 4 games in a row, but they only lost those 4. What's it? With an L's an L, a W's a W. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But they lost each one of those games only by a touchdown or, less than a touchdown.
They've all been close. You're so right about that, which kind of is the good news and the bad news, right? It's also what makes it super disappointing to know we were that close in all those games.
But I'm no football expert, but I thought Baker Mayfield looked excellent yesterday. Of course, you were angry with me. I have some friends down in Fort Myers that were angry with me. I don't know what it is about Central Florida here in the Orlando area. I know when we lived in Winter Haven, that was the Tampa, and people, that aren't in broadcasting won't understand this, but we were in the TSA, which is the total survey area.
Total survey area, which is like the big market. It's like the coverage area for a TV or a radio station. Yes.
Yeah. So we were in the Tampa Bay TSA.
Right.
And so we got everything Tampa when we lived in Winter Haven. But then we moved up here into Claremont. Now we are in the Orlando TCA. So we get all Orlando stations. But, the Orlando stations and obviously probably the Tampa stations both got the game. But down in Fort Myers, they were stuck with the Dolphins, as were you in Gainesville.
Yes. I don't know what. Well, I think I know why. And that is because here in Gainesville, we have one, I think the NBC station is based right here in Gainesville. That's all we have. It's such a small town. So I'm sure, because I can see the promos now, our Fox station is the Orlando Fox station. So if I'm watching, you and I are watching Fox TV, we're watching the same broadcast station out of that. But on the other hand, I'm 90% sure my CBS station is out of Jacksonville. So yeah, exactly. And the Jags had the weekend off. Thank God they didn't lose another one. And so I got the Miami game like you. I had Dallas. So I'm like, okay, I got Dallas. Okay, I got Dallas. I'll watch, I'll enjoy watching Dallas get beat again. They won over Washington. Good for you, Dallas. You finally aren't going to be having to eat any more crow this morning as we record this on a Monday morning. And then, but the game was, it was like not worth watching. And then Miami, they won. Okay. Wasn't a great game. I flipped back and forth. And then the afternoon games were like more boring. So I actually went out and I did a little door dashing yesterday and I made some money rather than sit and watch another boring football game. Came home and watched pretty good game. Philadelphia last night beat LA, the LA Rams. So anyway, that's that. So kind of looking forward to the Harbaugh Bowl tonight. And again, as we record this on a Monday. Right.
Oh, the two hardballs. Harbaugh. Yeah. Yeah, the coaches.
Right. The two Harbaugh coaches at Baltimore and the LA Chargers. So that it's just for fun. I mean, it should be a pretty good game either way because one guy is like an offensive genius and the other guy's a defensive genius. So it should be a pretty good game for a while. So we'll see. Anyway, that's football. But my Cleveland Browns on Thursday night on Amazon. People were posting it on Twitter, on X, like crazy. I follow a lot of football people on X, and they were just posting these beautiful, beautiful pictures of the snow falling and the game and the colors and the guy. And it's like, and some of them were just like, this should be hanging in a museum. This is art. This is so beautiful. And then they had the NFL Films take on when Jameis Winston ran for the touchdown, the slow motion running through the snow. It was like, oh my God, this is like a Martin Scorsese movie.
I also saw the pictures when they won. They were making snow angels in the snow.
Jumped out onto the field and were making snow angels. Yeah, it was. So anyway, thank you, Cleveland Browns, for giving me that was the bright spot of my week. That's been the bright spot of my football month. I got to tell you. Browns beating the their arch rival Pittsburgh Steelers, who should have before the game. They always, of course, survey on the Amazon crowd, and only what's his name Fitzpatrick, the quarterback, the old quarterback, took the Cleveland Browns to win it. Everybody else picked Pittsburgh to win it. So what a great night, what a great show, what a great game. Thank you to my Cleveland Browns. I appreciate you. Love you.
Well, as I've mentioned before, my daughter's boyfriend is like you, Bill, a Cleveland fan, because he's from Cleveland area. You guys probably not too far from each other. I don't know what high school he went to, but probably were rivals, in high schools.
Although 30 years apart.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit younger than you, but still they were rivals. Right. And of course, we had their dog yesterday, and the dog was sitting up on the couch with Grandpa, as they call me.
Of course.
And of course, they wanted to know what their dog was doing. I was, he's watching the Bucs game with me. And so, I almost called him the son-in-law. They're not married or anything. Right. So he said, so he enjoys watching the Bucs with you. And I go, yeah. In fact, he told me he likes the Bucs better than he does the Browns.
That's funny. That's awesome. Probably didn't go down too well with the dog dad there, but that's okay. That's all right. Good poke. Yeah, next time you talk to him, find out where he's from in Cleveland. I mean, if you can find out where he went to high school, I may or may not know it. I mean, it's only been 50 years since I've been there. But yeah, it would be interesting to know where he went to high school if he went in the Cleveland area. Maybe we did play him. Who knows?
Well, I know
Now, see, in Cleveland, you always have to ask this: East Side or West Side? Do you know where he's from?
The South Side, I think.
West Side? Okay,
South Side.
You can say South Side in Cleveland, but cities are like that. They either have their north side, like Chicago, north side, right? I mean, I'm not from Chicago. I don't know that. North side, south side, east, west, whatever. In Cleveland, it's east side, west side, and they might as well be two different countries. They're so different. Well, they were. I don't know if they still are or not, but they were very different places in a good way, good diversity.
I know when she went up there this summer, I talked about some places they went with you, I think. And if I remember right, you said, yeah, I know where they did. Oh, yeah, I've been there. I have
all right. I'll have to.
So I think you're in the same. I will try and ask him next time I see him.
It's high school.
Yeah, I'm old. My memory's not good, but I'll try to remember to ask him next time that I see him.
Sounds cool. Sounds cool. Yeah. I had when I lived in Fort Myers many, many moons ago, there was a young lady who I met who had gone to the same college as I did, which was cool. Ohio University down in Southeast Ohio, by the way, of course. But we were like so far apart. I always told her, like, if I was 10 years younger and you were 10 years older, we'd still be 10 years apart. So yeah, it's time flies and it's not fun. It's not.
No kidding.
It's just
Not
crazy.
fun at all.
Just
Although
craziness.
I am just blessed that I have had the time that I've had, doing my other podcast. And I did a couple interviews, this weekend for the podcast, the organ transplant podcast, Gift of Life. And,
Yes.
I've been talking to some not newbies, but I talked to a girl that had her heart transplant now for 5 years. And whenever I tell them 21, they all like, oh my God, that's great. And I'm starting to think, it is great, but I'm starting to think, yeah, it's been 21 years. How much longer do I got?
Well, it won't be, I mean, not really fun talking about it. It's about running out of time. It won't be your heart that kills you because your heart is a new model. You got the new model there. So the rest of it, though, you need to take better. You need to take good care of the rest of the body.
So we'll see. But,
yeah, you'll see. You'll be
It
fine.
amazes people when they find out that I've had this heart for 21 years. And it even amazes me, too, because I thought, oh, I'll get another 5 years. And, we're well over that now. I've got 21. So knock on wood. I'm just like an old Timex. It may take a licking, but it keeps on ticking.
Boy, you got to be 65 years old to know that joke. A joke. It's a, advertising line. Takes a lick and keeps on ticking. Yeah. But you could tell that to anybody of our age and they'll know exactly what you mean. But if you were to talk to a younger person, zero, nothing,
Yeah.
nada. So I always find that interesting when I'm like delivering. I mentioned I do my DoorDash thing just to make a couple of bucks now and then. And when I have to deliver to the campus, to like a dorm, well, they have dorms, but thankfully I don't deliver to them a lot. But a lot of these kids live in these really swanky high-rise apartments in downtown Gainesville. And they'll come down to the street and meet me so I don't have to go up to like the 14th floor or something like that. But the language difference is, let's just say, noticeable between me and college-age kids, that it's like, we're trying to communicate here, but maybe it works, maybe not.
And then they go up to their room going, man, you should have seen the old grandpa that brought my food.
But I think I get some brownie points for being a nice old guy. I'm not a grumpy old man. So if the kid does come down to meet me at the street corner or whatever, so I can hand off the food, I make sure I'm always appreciative. I'm like, thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming down and saving me the, traversing up to the 14th or whatever, or have a great night or whatever like that. So occasionally, not a lot, but occasionally another couple of dollar tip will show up on the app that so-and-so has added to your tip. And I'm like, oh, thanks, kids. But yes, I mean, nice goes a long way, no matter what age you are. You can be nice to people, and that's all it takes. That's fine.
That's what I try to be when I can.
There you go. When you can, when the world doesn't piss you off.
Yeah. No, I think I'm pretty good at that, being, nice and friendly to people.
Oh, sure.
I know that I'm one of the people that I know I'm one of the people because, I have been, now we go back to my hospital years, been in the hospital so much. I am very, very, very nice, pleasant. I even like to joke around with like nurses and doctors and techs in the hospital because I see them abused so much in my hospital travels. I know people are nervous, I know they're scared, and that's usually when people lash out. But the poor nurses, they're just there. They're trying to help you. They're not, so that's kind of my pet peeve.
I got it. Yeah, that's good. I mean, and that's you get karma points for that. You absolutely do. So because yes, those people. I mean, they're like. I mean, it's not the same job, obviously, but anything where you're trying to help people, like a flight attendant on an airplane. I mean, got to be the worst job in the world. I mean, I don't know that. Obviously, people have done the job and have enjoyed it, but you know, people are generally not all that nice about it, especially nowadays. Especially nowadays. I don't know what happened in the past few years. Well, you can make a case for a lot of things happening in the past few years, but people have just kind of gotten generally a little bit more pissy. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Maybe it all started with the computer because, they call them the keyboard,
Keyboard
and
warriors.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they get out there on their keyboards, they go, "Hey, well, that sucks," or "Hey, you're a piece of crap," or whatever they
Right.
want to say. And
Right.
so maybe now it's starting to carry on over from the keyboard into real life conversation more often.
I believe that. I do. And we're so we're so used to doing things online, not doing it, commenting on things. I mean, like if you go to Twitter, X, if you go to X or Facebook, Facebook for some reason is worse than X. Maybe it's just because I can choose to follow certain people on X. I don't know. But people say nasty stuff to, right. And I'm not going to say right to your face, but
But it is because
digitally
especially
speaking.
if it's a post you made and they
Right.
comment on it. Yes, it is to your face, but you don't know who they
Digitally
are, so you
speaking.
can't punch them out.
That's right. That's right. Mike Tyson said way before the fight, way before the Logan Paul fight or the Jake Paul fight, Mike Tyson said, a lot of people really need to learn what life is like when you say something face to face and you get your nose broken. That would solve a lot of issues. That would, you know. I mean, I'm not advocating violence, people. Let me make it very clear. I am not advocating violence. However, if you were more connected to the outcome of your words and deeds in life rather than just posting anonymously on some social media platform, which can be very antisocial. I think the world would be a better place. I'm just going to leave it at that because other than that, that's a deep, dark rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. So, yeah.
Now, I've talked about it maybe a couple times online,
Hmm.
but I'm an electric car person. I don't like to say, "Hey, I went out and bought an electric," because I know people are going to like pound on me on Facebook. Even people I know say, "Oh, I never own an electric car. Oh, wow, what's wrong with you?"
Which is weird because normally electric cars are supposed to be more environmentally friendly. They're not, but I get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
and
Yeah.
I didn't buy mine to be a tree hugger. I'll just say that out loud.
Okay.
I bought mine because it's just cooler than hell,
It is a cool car. Yes.
and I do save money, especially
Yes.
someone who drives around. Like we drove around town. We probably went out and left the house. And Claremont is not like you don't leave here and the restaurant is like a mile down the road. I have to travel at least 5, 6, 7 miles. Well, maybe not that far, but like 5, 6, yeah, 5 or 6 miles,
Sure.
to get to the restaurants. And
Sure.
we probably went out probably 4 or 5 times last week. And I charged the car the other night. It cost me because I can figure out how much our electric
Sure.
we pay for
Sure.
kilowatt or whatever, and how much we put
Sure.
in it. For all that running around for an entire week, I didn't even put $6 into my electric tank.
Electric tank. I like that. Yes. Yes. For you, literally for you are the prime customer for an electric vehicle. You are. You don't travel a ton. If you do, it's down to Fort Myers to see your kids or something like that. I get it, to see your son. That's fine. Not super far.
Yeah,
And
because
most of your travel, what's that?
when I go to Fort Myers, that is about a 3-hour drive from where I live, and it doesn't even cost me a full. I keep wanting to say
A
tank,
full tank of
but
juice. Yeah.
but it doesn't take a full charge to even get there.
Right. Right.
I went down there about a month ago and charged to 100% before I left the house.
Right.
My wife went and saw some friends. We went out with her brother one night, and had dinner with her brother. So we didn't like get there and park the car.
Right.
We drove around a little bit. And when we were ready to leave, we went to the Electrify America, charging station, which with Hyundai, you get 2 years free charging.
Yep.
And we were still at I think we were at 16%. And we charged it all the way up to 80.
Yep.
Got home without a problem.
Of course. Again, you are the perfect customer for an EV, for an electric car. I mean, if I was just living, if I didn't travel as much as I do, and I'm not going to say I travel a ton, I don't, but to me, it's still, they haven't crossed that tipping point yet where and I saw this on YouTube the other day. A guy was reviewing an electric car. I forget which one, something new and fancy and expensive, but he's standing there at an Electrify America place and he's like, this is in my small town. This is the only place to charge this car unless I'm doing it at home. And he says, and look, and he's pointing around the parking lot. He goes, there's the Winn-Dixie way over there, and there's the Subway over there. And it's like, if I need to make a bathroom stop and get a big, get my Diet Coke refilled, he says, this isn't even a gas station. He says, so actually, he was making a plea to the electric people. And he said, actually, there's one of them, and it's not our friends at Buc-ee's, but there's another big national gas station chain. I'm sorry?
Pilot. Almost all the pilots now.
All the pilots are going to start adding electric charge stations at their stops. And Pilot is more of a truck stop thing. The owner of Pilot, well, he used to. I'm not sure if he still does. The owner of the Pilot company owns the Cleveland Browns. Side note. But yes. So anyway, that was his point. He says, put them at damn gas stations so I can stop, make a bathroom stop, get a hot dog and a drink and be on my way. He says, that would be perfect. He says, but right now they're in the middle of nowhere. And like when I drive south, when I'm like this week, later in the week is Thanksgiving here as we record this, I'm going to be driving down to visit some friends in Sarasota for Thanksgiving. There's a gigantic Electrify America station right off of Bruce B. Downs in north of Tampa. And there's the Dunkin' Donuts there and the Panera there. And there's, it's like perfect. I could walk, I can get a snack, I can make a bathroom stop, I can do whatever. But that's rare. That's very rare. Here in my town, it's kind of in the middle. The charging station is right in front of the big Target. So if you wanted to go to Target, there's the Starbucks there and whatever. So you're all good. So anyway, that's my rant on electric stuff. And again, I could see having one next time. Maybe my next vehicle when they get it a little more established with infrastructure.
Yeah. But like I said, all the pilots, Loves are starting to jump on board also. A lot of the Loves, both of these though are truck stops.
Yep.
But I do hear that Buc-ee's have in many of their locations charge points. And I have, because with apps, you can track, like, let's say I wanted to go see family in Indiana.
Right.
And I'm giving myself probably 150 miles because you want to do it in a safe range. You don't want to be out there.
Right.
And like, oh my goodness. But so I have mapped out my route all the way to where I used to live and where I came from, at the, ripe age. I think I was in my upper 20s, younger 30s when I moved down here in Florida.
Right.
And I could get all the way there, and I have it completely mapped out how I could do that now. So, I mean, if I needed to, I could. If I ever go to Indiana, I'm 99% sure I would fly.
Right.
I'm older. I don't really want to drive that far. But my wife has friends in Georgia, northern Georgia. Like, she's on the opposite side of our friend Vicky. They're over in Calhoun. And I would probably stop 4 times on the way up there. And like I said, we would stop, get something to eat. We'd walk around, we'd plug the car in, that's what we'd do. We're old. I don't care if I go to a gas station, put in the gas in, 5 minutes and be on the road. Even now, when we did have a gas car, being at my age, we would stop, walk around, go whiz, you know, do those things, buy some snacks,
Of course.
you
Snacks,
know,
of course.
get a sandwich.
Buc-ee
We,
nuggets. Come on.
yeah, we can do all that, you know. So I've got it all mapped out if we ever want to go.
So I checked while you were chatting, I checked our friends Buc-ee's. And yes, the one that I stop when I go to Georgia to visit our friend Miss Vicky and her husband Rick, the one at Warner Robins does have electric chargers, and the one at St. Augustine also has electric chargers.
So
So
does
if
the
you're
one in
out and
Daytona,
about,
I believe. I believe the one in Daytona does too.
it does. It does. Yeah. And they both, by the way, they have both. They list the Mercedes-Benz high power universal charger. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's the same,
Now,
but they
some of
also
them,
have what's that?
like some of them, like if you want diesel
Right?
or if you want, regular gas, there's two different hoses.
Oh yeah, I
Electric
know.
cars are kind of the same.
Yeah.
There's really pretty much two basic plugs, either the Tesla
Right.
plug
There's
or
Tesla and everybody else.
yeah.
Yeah.
And more and more cars now, the Ionic, Hyundai is starting to go with the Tesla plug. So
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen over the years if Tesla's all of a sudden going to become the mainstay here in America. Anyway.
I'm sure they would love that idea, that it's like we are the people when it comes to charging your electric car. Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, whatever. But see, again, this is the mentality of it that you have, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You just have to plan ahead a little bit more. Like you were saying, if you're driving to visit somebody and it's a long distance, then
You need to map that out. Yes.
you need to map that out a little better. You absolutely do. Again, if I were just staying here now, if I were doing that with my DoorDash, with my delivery stuff, oh my God, that would be awesome. Because like you said, I could, where it would take me maybe a whole tank of gas for 3 or 4 days of delivery, at 50 or $60, I don't know, whatever it costs to fill the whole tank nowadays. You could do that for a third of that or less for the electric. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
I will say though, let's say, I think this is a little bit of a negative when people say, well, I get an electric car and I'll save money. Now, of course, I have the Electrify America for 2 years.
Right.
But now let's say my 2 years is up.
Right.
And I want to travel.
My friend in Sarasota, her 2 years is up with her old Ionic 5. Yes.
Yeah. And so I want to travel to, let's just say, Calhoun, Indiana, either place.
Right.
So now when I stop in Electrify America or an EV Go, which is another popular place to charge that has this, the superchargers, or you can, charge your car completely in like 20 minutes.
Right.
So that would cost you about the same as if you were putting gasoline in your car.
Really? I thought it was cheaper.
It might be a hair cheaper. Now, okay, because probably to fill I'm going to say it's pretty close. Probably a little bit cheaper, but not that much. And especially Electrify America, though. Electrify America is even more than EV Go. And maybe that's because they got so many free people on there too.
Maybe.
And somebody said that they think after, these Hyundais kind of stop or catch up, where not everybody is getting the free charges, they will probably lower their costs, but I'm not for sure.
Yeah, but isn't Hyundai paying for that? I mean, I don't know that. I honestly don't know.
I don't know what kind of
the arrangement. And it's interesting you mentioned that, because I have seen online reviews like on YouTube of the big Tesla, the Cybertruck, the monster truck, and God, that thing's big. I've seen a couple of them here in town. They're big. And it costs a lot to fill, because for starters, it has a bigger battery, and you're burning through it faster because of the big size of the thing. But it's like, yeah, guys have said it's about the same as gas. I'm like, so then why am I doing this? Because I mean, I don't need a Cybertruck. They're just butt ugly to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? Ford is making trucks. Chevy is making trucks.
Yes,
electric
they are.
trucks.
And the Chevy one has great reviews. I've seen a couple of reviews of the Chevy one, and they love it. So, yeah, I get it.
Now, the only thing I will say, too, because, not that I would take it to Indiana. I still don't think I would. I think I'd probably fly. But I did notice, because when I track my car ride from here to Calhoun, Georgia, piece of cake. I mean, I got places between places, so I don't need to worry.
Right.
If I want to say, hey, let me try to go 200 miles between stops.
Right. And
I
there's a
could
bunch
do
of these in
that.
Calhoun, Georgia, of course. Yes.
I could do that.
Right.
But, when you get past, let's say you get past Nashville, Tennessee,
Okay.
and you're going, towards my little hometown of Rensselaer, Indiana.
Right.
You can get it done because, like I said, I did the research.
Right.
But they're farther and fewer between. Once you go past Nashville, it's like, oh my God, where do I go? If you didn't have it planned out, you could definitely get into a little. And when I get to Indiana, oh my God, Indiana must be so against electric vehicles. Well, even my niece, who I love to death, makes fun of my little electric car.
Of
When I
course
told
she
her I had
does.
an electric car, she goes, "Oh my God, don't tell me you got an electric car."
They grow corn there. It's ethanol. They grow
Oh.
corn. You're taking money out of their pocket. All right, Grandpa. That's good. We're coming out. Look at that. We're already halfway through. So you got something to tease me with here for the second half of the show?
Because what we got Thanksgiving coming up.
Yes,
we
we
got
do.
we got Black Friday, or what are they calling that? Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday coming up. I have something to tell you a little bit about Black Friday.
There you go. See, I knew he would come through with a tease for the second half of the show. Stand by for that, folks. Go refill your coffee, and we will be right back. And welcome back. I'm Bill. That's BJ. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast. Clever. How about that works, isn't it? If you haven't done so yet, please feel free to stop by your favorite podcast whatever, your favorite place for podding, and leave us that 5-star review, whether it's iHeartRadio or iTunes Music or Spotify or Apple Podcast. It doesn't matter. We appreciate it no matter where you're at, and leave us that great review. Find us on Facebook. Just do a quick search for BJ and Bill Podcast, or you can even email the show at bjandbillpodcast@gmail.com. There we go. I think I've covered all the bases, even though it's
I'm going to ask people to put the in there too, though, because I don't know if I can probably get it, but somehow I forgot the password to get into BJ and Bill Podcast. So now I have BJ and Bill, the
podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got you. And I used to say that for the first 50 or 60 episodes when you're searching on Facebook as well. Make sure you do BJ and Bill, A-N-D, you have to spell it out, and Bill Podcast, and you will find us on Facebook there. So there you go. So yeah, the electric car conversation was continuing over the break there, and it's like, it's getting there. For me, it's not there yet. It's getting there.
I will admit, I love mine. I'm an old fart. I've been around for a long time. I have owned, muscle cars. I've owned little itty bitty cars. I've owned pickup trucks. I've owned the gamut of about everything in my, let me see.
I've never owned a pickup truck.
Huh? Yeah, I've had a pickup truck.
I've never owned a pickup truck, but everything else, yeah.
I've had a couple pickup trucks, and to be all honesty,
you're from Indiana. Come on.
Yeah. So, and I swear, for an old fart like me, this is the coolest car I have ever owned.
It is cool. It is totally Star Trek. Totally high tech. Yes.
I love it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't apologize. It's your car. You should love it. It's good. Even though it is a Mickey Mouse version, Disney version.
Let's continue before we go to the next subject. I wanted an electric car. The wife was against it. Totally against electric cars.
Right.
we go to the Hyundai dealer. Well, we went to Kia, we went to Hyundai, we looked
Sure.
around. We even went to Chevy. We looked at, the Equinox. And all of a sudden, we walk into the Hyundai dealer. Right there on the showroom floor. Disney 100 Platinum Edition. Somehow, some way, as my wife has gone, no, I don't want an electric car. Her eyes somehow could see Disney from miles away. Zoomed in, goes, what is this? Oh, that's going to sound like Mickey there, didn't I? Oh, what is this?
BJ, what is this? Right?
So the salesman takes her over and says, well, this is the Disney 100 Platinum. There's 1,000 made. It's for Disney's 100th, year.
Anniversary. Yep.
Yeah. And here's the car and blah, 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 blah.
And sign here.
and she so we're leaving, and we've looked at the car because we went to quite a few dealers.
Sure.
And here was her exact words. And I was not going to let her back out or blink an eye or anything. She goes, if you get the Disney, because I don't think she thought I would spend, because I'm a tightwad.
We know
I've
that
said
about
that many
you.
times.
We
even
love
on
that
our
about
radio
you.
show.
Yes. Yes.
And she says, if you get the Disney one, I'll let you have it. Boom.
BJ turns right around, finds the salesman, says, get the papers.
It was like the next day or a couple days later.
Right.
I said, I'm going to do it then. She goes, because in all honesty, she wanted the RAV4, which we had before. That's what we traded in.
Right.
A Toyota RAV4, but she wanted
Perfectly
the plug-in
acceptable.
hybrid.
Right. Perfectly acceptable. Yep.
And that's the one she wanted. And then she said, oh, if you got to have one, get that one. You can have that one. And yeah. So there's the story, folks. If there wasn't a Disney, but now what I was going to turn the story around, because I asked her about 2 or 3 weeks later after we owned the car.
Right.
He says, well, do you like this? Or you still wish we would? She goes,
yeah.
I don't know if I can go back to a regular car or not.
Did you, I shouldn't say obviously, but did you drive one before? Because that one's on the showroom floor. Oh, did you drive that one?
No, we didn't drive that one.
They had another, yeah.
They had another one, same setup. It just wasn't,
not the right. That's what I thought. They probably wouldn't let you drive the Disney one sitting on the showroom floor for a reason. Because
I think it had like 8 miles on it.
Yeah.
I think it had, maybe not even that. It maybe had 6 to 8 miles on it. That's when we drove it. And they had to actually pull it out of the showroom.
Yeah, of course.
And then prep it to get it ready for us.
3 years ago, whenever my friend in Sarasota bought hers, that was the one. They had one, and that was it. And it was like, somebody's already been here, and he's going home to talk to his wife about buying it, but we don't let people do that to say, I'll be back, I want it. No. Write the check right now. And we drove it, and all we did was drive it in the parking lot. And this was 2.5 years ago. So they had this giant parking lot, and it was empty because they couldn't get cars. Remember, it was a couple, 3 years ago when the world was kind of in a bad spot with that. And my lady friend says, I've never driven one before. She says, you drive it to me. She says, you drive it first. And I'm like, I've never driven one before either. And the salesman hops in the back seat and he goes, it's easy. Come on. It's just like a golf cart. Get in. So we did. And I punched it and she bought it like that. She didn't say so, but you knew at that moment she was buying that car because there was this like, whoa moment, where you're like, okay, I got it. All right. Anyway, enough about electric cars. Well, I don't know. I'm done with electric cars. You had something else exciting to share and I'm ready to hear it.
So you're lucky because you're not married. You don't have a spouse. Don't have anything like that. But Black Friday, people will go shopping for Black Friday. And I didn't realize this. And I went down. My wife she's going shopping today with our daughter. They will probably do this to me today. Doesn't even have to be Black Friday.
Which is?
They will buy things and never let their spouse know they bought them.
Oh, of course. Of course. That almost goes without saying.
The article was talking about, Black Friday, obviously. They go out on Black Friday and they buy things that have never been spoken out loud again to, the spouse.
until Christmas morning.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, probably not even then.
Things for them, in other
That's what
words.
I'm thinking. I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of like the CIA. It's one of those black budget things. It's just write the check, don't ask what it's for. Well, remember 20 years ago, back in my married days, and we would be on the air on Black Friday because BJ and Bill were on the air every day. We would be on the air on Black Friday, and my then wife, shout out to Miss Paula in Fort Myers, she loved Black Friday shopping, and she would be out and about at 6 a.m. Remember, she would call us.
Oh yeah, we
and do a little traffic
from her.
report out there on the streets of Fort Myers at like 7 a.m. on Black Friday. So yeah, I remember that for sure. So yeah.
Now, obviously, as you mentioned, we were always on the air, during the really cool Black Friday time because we wanted to be there, like right when the stores open and people would be in line overnight for Black Friday.
Sometimes.
Because they wanted these certain deals. So they would be like the first in the store. It's still crazy. I never got in. I was always that idiot. It's like 2 or 3 days before Christmas. I better go out and do some shopping or I'm going to be in trouble.
Wondering why there's none of the stuff you wanted to get, that it's all sold out. Yeah.
Let me just say, and I hate to admit this, but hell, I'm at the age now. That's what I like about being old. You don't really care what you admit. There was Christmases where the gift would come from like the drugstore or somewhere that was still open on Christmas Eve.
All right, that is lame. That's really low rent. But you got to do what you got to do. I understand.
Now, my wife would always get furious with me, even after those days, because I finally grew out of that stage, where
good for you.
I would get them, something. But I quit doing it a few years ago, I think, just because as the kids got older, as my wife got older, I don't think she ever appreciated it though. I would always go out. It was like my little tradition that I don't do any longer. I probably haven't done it in the last 5 years, maybe more. I would always go out and buy everyone something stupid. Because for so many years, I went out and, like I said, I would buy the gifts, at the drugstore on the way home. We'd get off the air. I'd have to work Christmas Eve, and I'd get off at noon or whatever, and I'd say, "Oh, I better go do some shopping." Hell, all the stores are going to be crowded. Let me just pull in here to the CVS. They got neat little gifts. So
anyway, so you would buy stupid stuff.
I would always buy everyone one stupid gift. I mean, something like,
I love that.
Like, what do they call those things that grow, green stuff on their head or whatever?
Like a chia pet.
Yeah, something dumb like that. I would have to buy my 2 kids and my wife something, stupid like that every year. It was like my tradition. But finally, as everybody got older, I guess I could tell they don't know what this means to me, but they just could care less. And so I don't even do that now.
I think you should bring that back. I really do. Because now you could go to Amazon or Temu or whatever the heck. You could find a ton of stupid stuff and it'll ship right to your house. You would have to go out.
I'm the guy now that I do my shopping at the bank.
At the bank. I hear you. Yes.
I will take like $400 of crisp new $100 bills. I'll take 5 crisp $50 bills.
Sweet.
And
of course, nowadays banks don't have any money. Good luck with that. But yeah.
No, well, maybe they just do it around Christmas time, but I always go in about a week before. I'll be out and about doing something, and I'll go, I need to pull in here to the bank.
Sure.
And I make
then you
my
get
withdrawal.
The nice, crispy, brand new ones. Yeah, I love that.
Well, some of them maybe aren't brand new, but they don't look folded. They look crispy.
Right.
I'm ready to go.
Right. And I remember seeing that was either a TV commercial or something else I saw when somebody was talking about using cash money as a gift, and he would just reel off the good, the positives. Always in season, never goes stale, never the wrong size, always fits. It's like, yeah, that's cash. It's good.
Well, it works now.
What do you mean?
Want to hear a story about that? You say always works?
Oh, you mean there was a time it didn't? Tell us more.
Well, you never had children or grandchildren.
That is correct.
So when the
You got nieces and
grandchildren,
nephews by the time.
when the
Yeah.
grandchildren were young, by that time I was we'd always still try to get the grandkids even like a toy or something. But then I would always give them, a $50 bill and in a card. One year, the granddaughter lost the $50. We don't know if it went out in the Christmas trash. We don't know where it went, but let's just say it was never found.
Wow.
With
That's
all the paper and everything and all the excitement, of Christmas, somewhere, because the next morning or whatever, like, and I mean, we looked in the trash. I don't know where it went. Maybe they did find it someday and they never just told me, but I don't.
Maybe it was a scam to get another $50 out
it might
of
have been,
Grandpa.
because I think maybe they did get one. No, but yeah, I never will forget that year. Oh my God, I quit giving cash away there for a while. I gave away checks.
Right.
That way I knew. Okay, I got cash. Good, we're good.
My brother's kids, especially the boys. CJ is Casey. He's named for his grandfather, Casey. He was a monster. I mean, he was Christmas morning. He was a monster, and he would prefer to tear open the packages rather than play with the toys. He enjoyed the tearing off of the wrapping paper more than anything. And I mean, the place looked like a bomb went off in a wrapping paper factory, so yeah, it was fun. But yes, I need to remind him of that now that he's 32 years old or something like that. I need to see if I can embarrass him with that.
No disrespect to anyone.
But
my first wife, when I had, Gentry, my son.
Yes.
And he was like a 2, 3, 4-year-old.
Yes.
She had 2 sisters and a brother. And let me tell you, that was a fertile family.
How many kids are we talking about?
I'm talking about quite a few kids.
Gotcha.
I'm talking, yeah, there was a lot of kids.
Okay.
So this is like, I don't know. So actually the first time I went there, I think even as before we had Gentry even, I went over there for a couple Christmases and it was like mayhem. All right, time to open Christmas presents, everybody. I mean, paper was flying, boxes were flying. It was like, you would think a hurricane came into that room. Total destruction. In 10 minutes, it was total destruction. And I remember the first time I attended one of their family gatherings for Christmas, I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that in my entire life.
That's awesome.
I just had a brother. That's all it was, me and my brother.
Right.
And of course, you had, I don't know, but it was just paper would fly everywhere. And so remember, the first year my son was born, boy, with that it was for years and years and years, we'd go to, her parents and it would be a mayhem. All the grandkids awesome. Would be there just going, woohoo.
It's funny. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll do more Christmas stories, of course, as times come here. But yeah, that's awesome. So are you, speaking of which, as we record this, it is Thanksgiving week. Are you going anywhere, doing anything, or having people? Are you the host this year?
No. Let me get your take on this.
Oh, I'm listening. You got 10 minutes.
I am on the fence.
Oh.
My son put it this way. His house, he's had a friend that came in and spent a few days. His mother is there now.
Right.
His mother is leaving like Tuesday.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, Amy is like probably ready to blow her brains out because he's had friends. He's had his mother.
Right.
If someone's been there for probably, and we were there like about 3 weeks ago.
I remember.
So I'm thinking she's had a lot of people there. And my son, he's a loving, caring son. You're welcome, Dad, to come for Thanksgiving. We'd love to have you. We got the bedroom and it's open. I'm thinking, I want to see my son,
Right.
but do I want to put Amy through another 2 or 3 days of someone being in her home and, more DoorDash orders? And do I want to give the
um,
girl a break?
give the girl a break.
But
That's
some of
very
me is
kind and
saying,
considerate of you there, Grandpa.
I really want to see my son.
I understand, but it doesn't have to be this particular week. I mean, and I'm not good. I'm the wrong guy to ask about that because holidays are not well, and of course that's because I'm not married. I don't have kids. My parents are gone. Yeah, all of that, all of the stuff that happens when you get to be single and my age. That the holiday's just not that big of a deal for me. So I'm probably not the right guy to ask. But having said that, I do appreciate your concern for your daughter-in-law there. I think that's very kind of you because she's probably pretty frazzled and Christmas is coming and it's only going to get worse. And so if she takes some time to rest and relax and recharge, probably not a bad thing. Probably not a bad thing.
And I was thinking too, maybe just going for the day.
Sure.
But I
Nothing
hate to
wrong with that.
drive. I hate to drive like 3.5 hours, stay there for
Right.
a couple hours, then get back in the
Right.
car.
And I'm doing that. I mean, I'm doing that. I'm going to Sarasota and going to stay, at least one night, maybe two. But, there's a good spare bedroom and, all of that. So it's all good. But yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
was thinking maybe I might go up there Wednesday after, like leave Wednesday,
Right.
get there like in the late afternoon,
Right.
stay all day Thursday, spend the night, and then first thing
Yeah. Get
Friday
out of there.
morning, wake up
Yeah.
and head out of
Yeah.
Dodge.
Again, your kids and your son, daughter-in-law there. And yes, we know that he's always ready to volunteer to have dad or anybody else come over, but he's not the one cleaning up after them. So I get it. I do. And when I'm going to visit, down in Sarasota, I know for a fact that it's going to be like, all right, we're having the sister and boyfriend, the son and daughter-in-law, and a friend of the son's. So there's going to be 7 for Thanksgiving. And I know for a fact that yours truly is going to be pressed into service for turkey cooking and other stuff. Because of the group of 7, none of us are like Emeril Lagasse, but of the bunch, I probably have the best of the cooking skills, which isn't saying anything. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm just saying I'm okay with it. So, and the rest of them, not so much.
Well, Susan has bought, well, actually, she bought 2 because it was buy one, get one free turkey breast at
Oh,
Publix on a
nice.
BOGO deal. I know
Right,
she has one in the refrigerator now thawing, so I guess she's thinking about making that any day here now.
right.
So I don't know. It's like I said, and my daughter will be here because her boyfriend is on call, and we
Right,
might have to go do some IT things for. I don't know. I don't
right.
know what the
SeaWorld
name of
there,
the
right?
actual company is because they have Busch Gardens, they have SeaWorld here,
Right,
SeaWorld.
right,
He's the IT guy for all of them, so he can be called from any state, anywhere, and so they want him close to the office.
right. I get it. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So, like maybe I said, like you said, maybe you just go for the day. Dad, nothing wrong with that.
That might be
And
it.
then you could
I don't
come
know.
for the weekend, and you could do something with your daughter and boyfriend over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, ask me next week what I did, and maybe I'll know by then.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Yeah, yeah. My friend, she texted me a picture. I don't know if it was from Publix or Costco. She has both nearby. She says, "Is a 20-pound turkey too big?" I'm like, "Oh my God, that sounds monstrous." And then I said, "But it's 7 people. And if we have to send stuff home, if I have to take some turkey home, that's not a bad thing. I'm okay with that. I love leftover turkey sandwiches." So anyway, 20-pound bird at our house for the holiday. So I don't know if
know
that's
how
big or
big
not.
these turkey breasts are. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not done. I'm not, like we should, Alexa, how much turkey do I need per person for Thanksgiving dinner? See
Well,
what she
that's
says.
not fair. Maybe you should say how many pounds per person.
1.5 to 2 pounds of full turkey per person. So we're having 7. So we have 7 people. If we did 2 pounds, that's 14 pounds. So it's not crazy. It's not insane. I mean, it's more, but more is always, this is America, damn it. More is what we do. This is Thanksgiving, a holiday centered around excessive eating. It's perfect. Count me in.
I've been good. I've been good lately. I was told by the doctor,
Yes.
I haven't had much red meat, and it's like, but we went to, what was it? Texas Roadhouse. I had their barbecue. I had a barbecue chicken breast. It was pretty
Love Texas
good.
Roadhouse. Love Texas Roadhouse. How many of the little bread rolls did you eat? A dozen?
Now, see, that's not good if you are a person that retains sugar. And
I understand.
I'm not on the bad side, but I'm not on the good side. I'm like right teetering the good to being where you're not supposed to be.
You're on the teeter totter. Yes.
So I really my wife will usually have 2. I will only have 1.
Wow.
Never. Now, do I want 2, 3, 4, 5? Hell yes. But I usually only have
Hell
1.
yes. I mean, I could just bring that and a little itty bitty steak, and that could be a meal. It's all right. We love you, Texas Roadhouse. I got one right up the street. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that someday soon. But good. So anyway, I think we've solved the whole Thanksgiving question here. I think you're going to go for the day. I'm going to stay for a few days, and I'm going to bring leftovers home. And so I think we got this nailed down. I really do. Yeah. So, and then remember, of course, Thanksgiving Day, the traditional football games. Detroit and Dallas playing their games, and I don't know who's playing. They don't play together, but Detroit and Dallas always play on Thanksgiving Day, and they play somebody. And then there's Amazon, since they're not going to be playing since their regular day is Thursday, but Thanksgiving is Thursday. They're doing a game on Friday. They're doing the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders on Friday. So it's full on football, kids. Good for you. So yeah. So I'm just saying.
Don't forget the Macy's Day. Don't forget the Macy's Day Parade.
Macy's Day Parade. Macy's is Thanksgiving morning, right?
Yep.
That's another thing. Yet another shout out to the ex there. She would set the alarm to be up to watch the Thanksgiving Day Macy's Parade bright and early in the morning from New York. Yes, I get it. So, okay, whatever. It's I wonder how they're doing, a company like Macy's. I mean, man, that's a tough business nowadays. Oof. Especially with Walmart and Amazon breathing down your neck. Yikes. So
anyway. All these, it's another subject for another show because we're running out of time, but also a lot of these major chains as far as food restaurants going, Chapter 13, filing bankruptcy.
Well, yeah.
It seems like they're dropping like flies lately.
They kind of are. It's just, I don't, like you said, I don't want to start a whole nother discussion because that would take a whole nother hour. But there's quite the difference, I think, in what we are being told is going on with the economy. Oh, it's great. Employment is great. Yeah, they're all government people. The federal government hires 50,000 people a month to keep the employment numbers looking good. I just think things are not as rosy as we are being told they are. And I think the you-know-what is going to hit the you-know-what probably early next year, regardless of who would have been in the White House, regardless of who's in the White House. The stuff's going to hit the fan next year. So there you go. That's my end of the show prediction, and it's not fun. So what could we do for fun? close things out.
I don't even drink anymore. That's what really sucks about the whole thing.
Hello. I don't drink anymore either, but so that's a thing. That's a thing. So, and that's a whole other thing for a whole nother show about drinking and stuff. Young people aren't drinking nearly like they used to be, which is, I think, is a good thing, but that's a whole other thing. All right. Coming down to the end of the wire.
Do you know different young people than I know?
Perhaps.
Maybe I know the wrong young people. That's what I'm beginning to think.
Do. Perhaps some of us know right or wrong. I don't know.
Go to my hometown. What are we doing? We're going to drink. All they do is,
your
smoke
hometown, what?
and,
Rensselaer, Indiana?
Yeah, all they do there is drink and smoke cigarettes.
BJ, what else is there to do in Rensselaer, Indiana?
That's true.
That's it. That's you're done. That's all there is. So, all right. That's all there is for this show this week. BJ Odom, have a great Thanksgiving, no matter where you spend it, no matter who you are with. I hope it is wonderful for you, as is for the rest of our audience. Be blessed, be thankful, be all those things that, I'm not going to say you should be, but you should be. So there, I'm just going to say it. You still have a great life. Amen. Everybody have a great week. We will talk to you again. Don't overeat. Well, don't overeat too much, because I'm going to overeat. But have a great week. We'll talk to you again next week. Until then, it's just up to BJ Odom to gobble. See you next week.
See ya.